Picture standing at the base of this huge mountain.
Right.
And on your left is the fastest route up. But the ground is unstable, like there are hidden traps everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Not a safe path at all.
Exactly. But then on your right, there is a slow, steep, exhausting path.
But it leads to the safest ground at the very top.
Yes. It forces you to face your deepest fears along the way, but it gets you there safely.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
Welcome back to Horoscope TV. If you are tuning in right now, you are most likely an Aries.
Or maybe you are deeply connected to an Aries, you know.
Right. And we are looking at the specific period of June 2026.
A very big month.
You really need to tune in and stay with us for this entire episode because June 2026 is a massive month of shifting energies for you, Aries.
Massive.
We are tracking a timeline that includes this huge peak in your career.
Which is great.
An intense period of deep personal healing, and then, well, a very tricky period for your money right at the end of the month.
Yeah, that money part requires serious preparation starting today.
So that is the landscape we are looking at.
It is the exact landscape. And before we get into the details, let us set the ground rules for how we're going to analyze this month.
Good idea.
Everything we discuss today comes straight from the astrological charts.
No guessing.
Right. We are looking at the astro data for June 2026. We are tracking exactly where the planets are moving, how they clash or support each other.
And most importantly, how that actually shows up in your daily life.
Exactly, the mechanics of it all.
We are basically reading the map of the sky to understand the weather you are about to walk through.
I love that analogy.
And we're going to do it without using confusing terms. No big words that require a textbook to figure out.
Nobody wants that. We want to explain the why and the how behind these planetary shifts.
Right. So let us get right into the foundation of the month.
Early June.
Yeah. Before you can enjoy the romance and the big career wins that happen later in June, the charts show that early June is entirely about getting your house in order.
Specifically, your money and your mindset.
You know, you cannot build a tall structure on soft dirt.
No, you cannot. The month starts with a very specific planetary alignment designed to help you pour a concrete foundation.
Okay, let's get into it.
So on June 2, the sun forms a helpful connection with Saturn.
Saturn. Okay.
To understand how this works, we really have to look at what these two planets represent in the astro data.
Right, because the sun is basically your focus, right?
Exactly. Your identity and where your daily energy goes.
Yeah.
And Saturn is the planet of limits.
Time, structure.
Yes. Some older schools of astrology view Saturn as this harsh teacher, or even like a negative force.
A fun sponge.
Right. But modern readings analyze Saturn as the planet that forces you to build walls that actually protect you.
So when the sun and Saturn team up, it is like shining a giant spotlight on the walls of your house to see where the cracks are.
That is a great way to put it.
But when you say they form a helpful connection, what does that actually mean? Like, do they just pass by each other and wave?
Well, in the charts, a helpful connection means they are at a specific angle to each other. It allows their energies to mix smoothly.
Okay, smoothly.
Imagine two different rivers flowing together into one big channel without any rapids.
No splashing.
Right. Because the flow is smooth, the serious, disciplined energy of Saturn does not feel like a punishment.
It feels natural.
It feels like a natural instinct. It brings your focus straight to your long-term financial security.
Which is so important.
It asks you to take a serious, organized approach to your financial planning right at the start of the month.
I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of an Aries on June 2.
Okay.
Aries are fire signs. You guys are naturally impulsive, fast-paced.
Too fast.
So when you say serious financial planning, I picture an Aries sitting at a kitchen table surrounded by spreadsheets, highlighters, and just feeling this intense dread.
Because they feel restricted.
Exactly. Pouring concrete is hard work. It usually means no fun allowed. So does this mean the listener just locks up their wallet on June 2 and refuses to do anything enjoyable?
That is a very common reaction when people hear the word Saturn, especially in Aries. They think of restriction.
Right.
But the charts actually show a fascinating shift in how your brain processes pleasure during this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You are a fire sign, which means you naturally crave action. But on June 2, the satisfaction you get will not come from buying a flashy new watch or going out to a loud, expensive dinner.
Wait, really? Because that sounds exactly like an Aries thing to do.
Normally, yes. But under this transit, the chemical reward in your brain, like the actual feeling of satisfaction, comes from making practical choices that protect your wealth.
So the feeling of joy shifts from spending to saving.
Yes.
I mean, I can actually relate to that. It is like the feeling of finally paying off a credit card.
Oh, it's the best feeling.
It does not give you the quick thrill of buying a new pair of
Yeah.
shoes, but the deep, heavy breath you take when you see that zero balance. It is incredibly powerful.
That deep breath is Saturn energy working positively. When we analyze this specific Sun and Saturn connection, we see that activities like organizing your budgets, reviewing your savings accounts,
Or maybe just talking to a financial planner.
yeah, even just having a real conversation with an advisor will be the things that actually make you feel good.
That makes a lot of sense.
Avoiding unnecessary spending right now is not a punishment. It is a shield.
You are building armor,
Exactly. You are building armor for the rest of the month.
and we are definitely going to need that armor based on what is coming at the end of the month.
Oh, absolutely.
But let us stay in early June for a moment. As we move past the 2nd, I'm looking at the sequence of events here.
What do you see?
There seems to be a huge contradiction in the charts.
Let's analyze it.
On June 4, the moon enters Aquarius, which pushes for breaking rules and finding new ideas at work.
Correct.
But then, just a week later on June 11, the moon enters your own sign, Aries. And suddenly the need is for physical comfort, slowing down, and routine. These feel like total opposites. How does a person do both? Are we supposed to be a rebel at work on the 4th and then just chill on the couch on the 11th?
The way you phrase that highlights the tension perfectly. They're opposites, but in astrology, opposites often work together in a sequence.
Okay, walk me through that.
Let us break down the mechanics of the moon. The moon moves very quickly through the sky.
It changes signs every couple of days, right?
Exactly. It rules our moods and our daily emotional reactions. When the moon moves into Aquarius on June 4, it enters the part of your chart that rules your professional life.
Got it.
Aquarius is an air sign. It is focused on the future, technology, and breaking outdated traditions.
So for an Aries, who is already pretty bold, this moon in Aquarius feels like a sudden itch to change things up at the office.
Yes. The Aquarius energy acts like an electric shock to your normal routine.
Oh, wow.
It pushes you to take smart risks at work. It wants you to stand out. It wants you to find a modern solution to an old problem.
I picture the listener in a meeting on June 4. Everyone is doing the same boring routine.
And the Aries listener just cannot take it anymore.
Right. They suddenly speak up and say, what if we completely change how we process these files? Let us use this new software instead of the old paper system.
They are sticking their neck out.
Which is scary.
It is scary, but the charts show it is a necessary risk. You are showing your boss or your clients that you are forward thinking.
Okay.
And this answers your question about the contradiction with June 11.
Oh, Phil.
Because the heavy lifting and the intellectual risk you take on the 4th actually create the environment where you can truly relax by the 11th.
Oh, I see.
You cannot fully enjoy rest if you feel like you are falling behind at work. By pushing hard on the 4th, you earn the peace that comes a week later.
That is a really great way to frame it. You earn the rest.
Exactly.
And let us talk about that rest, because the astro data points to June 11 as one of the best dates of the entire month. Why is June 11 so significant?
On June 11th, the moon enters your own sign, Aries.
It comes home.
Right. When the moon comes home to your sign, your emotional needs align perfectly with your physical nature.
But wait, Aries is a fire sign. You guys are always moving, always going.
Which is exactly why this date is so important. As a fire sign, you burn so much energy, you are constantly projecting yourself outward.
Like a furnace.
Yes. So on this day, with the moon in your sign, your body demands that you stop and refuel. You will feel an overwhelming need for emotional grounding through physical comfort.
Grounding through physical comfort. Break that down for me. What does that actually look like on a random Tuesday or Wednesday?
It means your emotional battery recharges through slowing down, which is hard for an Aries.
Yeah, very hard.
But you will crave a calm environment. You will want to tune out the noise of the world.
So ordering takeout instead of cooking.
Or even just eating a really good, slow meal that you enjoy without looking at your phone. It looks like feeling the softness of a comfortable blanket, listening to gentle music, and just allowing your body to be still.
Just being still. That sounds amazing.
It is a slow, steady approach to your daily tasks.
It is not treating yourself to a wild night out. It is treating yourself to total peace.
Exactly.
I really like this narrative arc we are seeing. On June 2, you do the hard math and secure your money.
Yep.
On June 4, you push the boundaries at work and show your value.
Right.
And because you handled your business, by June 11, you can sit in your quiet living room, eat a great meal, and feel completely safe. It is a sequence of building a safe space.
That is the perfect way to analyze it. You have built a fortress.
A fortress.
And here is a core astrological principle. Once your foundation is secure, your energy naturally begins to flow outward toward other people.
Because you're not panicked about survival.
Exactly. When you are not worried about your survival or your job, you have the emotional space for romance.
Romance.
And that leads us right into the second major theme of the month.
Part 2. The heart and the heat.
Yes.
The charts show things getting very interesting as we move into the middle of June. We have our safe fortress. Now we are ready to invite someone inside.
Open the gates.
Let us look at June 9. The astrodata says Venus and Jupiter line up together.
A huge alignment.
Now, even with my basic understanding, I know Venus is the planet of love and Jupiter is the planet of growth.
Correct.
When they line up, what is the actual mechanism at play?
The mechanism is expansion. Venus dictates what you find beautiful, how you attract people, and what brings you pleasure.
Okay.
Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system, and in astrology, it acts like a giant magnifying glass.
So it makes things bigger.
Whatever Jupiter touches, it makes bigger, louder, and more abundant.
So if Venus is a standard light bulb, Jupiter comes along and turns it into a massive stadium light.
That is perfect. A stadium light that is shining directly on your love life.
Wow.
When these two planets line up in a conjunction, which means they are occupying the exact same space in the sky from our view on Earth.
They combine their power.
Yes, their energies combine. It brings massive joy. If you are in a relationship, this is a day where you are going to feel an overwhelming sense of happiness.
Like out of nowhere.
Pretty much. The minor annoyances that usually bother you about your partner, they will completely vanish.
You just stop caring that they left their socks on the floor.
Exactly. You will look at them and feel a deep, expanding sense of appreciation.
It is that rare moment where you are just sitting on the couch together and you get hit with a wave of pure gratitude.
Yes.
But what if the listener's completely single? Does a stadium light shining on an empty room do any good?
It does not stay empty for long.
Oh.
For single listeners, Jupiter brings luck. It dramatically increases the probability of crossing paths with someone significant.
So they should actually leave the house.
Definitely. But it is not just about luck. It is about how the transit changes you. You will project a magnetic joy on June 9.
And people love that.
People are always drawn to people who seem happy. You are highly likely to meet someone who brings loud laughter and a sense of abundance into your life.
That is so exciting.
The charts suggest you should keep your heart wide open on this date.
That sounds incredible. Just a pure, happy, lucky day for love.
It is.
But as we look at the timeline, that pure, simple joy takes a very sharp turn.
It really does.
Because just 4 days later, on June 13, Venus moves into Leo. And the astrodata lists June 13 as another one of the best dates of the month. But for a very different reason.
Yes. The environment of your love life completely changes.
How so?
Planets act differently depending on the zodiac sign they are traveling through. Think of the zodiac signs as different rooms in a house.
Okay, I like that visual.
Venus was in a comfortable, easygoing room, but on June 13, Venus walks into the Leo room.
And Leo is intense.
Leo is a fire sign, just like you, Aries. It is ruled by the sun. It is the sign of the performer, the stage, the royal court.
So love walks onto the stage. How does that change the desires of an Aries? Because you guys already like to be in charge.
Exactly. It causes a dramatic shift in what you want from a partner. You no longer just want a quiet, happy moment on the couch.
Right.
The Leo energy combined with your Aries fire makes you want attention, you want passion, you want to be admired.
You want a parade.
You want your partner to treat you like absolute royalty.
This is a huge shift. We went from June 9, where a quiet picnic in the park was the most beautiful thing in the world, to June 13, where you are suddenly demanding a red carpet event.
Exactly.
You want velvet ropes, you want someone to hold the door, pull out your chair, and tell you how amazing you are in front of a crowd.
That is the Leo influence working on your fire. You want the grand romantic gestures. You want the luxurious dates.
No more takeout.
No. You want to celebrate your relationship loudly and proudly. And because it is listed as a best date, the charts indicate that planning a fancy dinner or getting dressed up will be incredibly successful.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
It will reignite the fire in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
However, we must analyze the caution flag attached to this energy.
I was going to say, demanding to be treated like royalty sounds like a quick way to annoy your partner. What is the catch?
The catch lies in the nature of Leo. Leo energy is regal and demanding, yes, but at its core, Leo is also the most generous sign in the zodiac.
Oh.
A true king or queen does not just sit on a throne and take, they reward their loyal subjects.
I see where this is going.
If you are going to demand that your partner plans a luxury date and treats you like royalty, you must give back the exact same level of warmth, praise, and generosity.
You cannot just be a tyrant.
No.
If you want them to roll out the red carpet for you, you have to stand at the end of it and applaud them.
Exactly. If you act cold and just expect them to serve you, the Leo energy turns sour and creates massive tension. Especially since you are in Aries, you might just expect them to follow your lead.
Right, because Aries naturally wants to lead.
Yes, but you must match the energy here. Shower your partner with the affection and grand gestures you expect to receive. If you both play the game, the fires of love will burn very bright.
Okay, so we are playing the royal game. We are going on luxurious dates. We are getting dressed up.
It is going to be great.
All of that sounds amazing, but it also sounds really expensive.
It can be.
And remember, back on June 2, Saturn told us to protect our money. How do we balance luxurious dates with financial protection?
The universe provides a solution just 2 days later.
Oh, perfect timing.
On June 15th, we have a new moon in Gemini. This is a very specific alignment that opens up fresh avenues for income.
A new moon is when the sun and the moon are in the exact same spot, right? But the sky is dark. Why does a dark sky bring new money?
A new moon represents the beginning of a cycle. It is the moment a seed is planted in the ground before it starts to grow.
Okay.
And because this new moon happens in the sign of Gemini, we look at what Gemini rules. Gemini is an air sign ruled by Mercury.
So communication.
Exactly. It rules communication, quick thinking, adaptability, and local neighborhoods. When the new moon plants a seed in Gemini, it stimulates your mind to find clever, fast ways to generate extra resources.
So we're not talking about asking your boss for a long-term raise. We are talking about like clever money.
Yeah.
Finding a side door.
Yes. It is the perfect time to find a side job or to figure out how a hobby you already do can be turned into cash.
That makes sense.
Gemini is the sign of the merchant. It is about trading ideas for value. If there is a new work skill you can learn quickly that makes you more valuable, or a short-term contract you can negotiate, this is the time to do it.
The outline mentions paying close attention to casual conversations around this date. Why casual conversations?
Because Gemini rules the quick exchange of information. It is not the sign of deep, heavy philosophy.
So it is not a boardroom meeting.
No, it is the chat you have while waiting in line for coffee or the quick conversation in the elevator. The astro data suggests that a passing comment from a neighbor or a casual acquaintance could spark a big idea.
I can picture that perfectly.
Yeah.
You were at a neighborhood cookout. Someone mentioned they're struggling to organize a local event.
Right.
And as an Aries who loves taking charge, you realize you could lead that easily. You tell them you will manage it for a small fee, and boom, you have a new stream of income.
That is exactly it. It is about being alert and listening to what people need.
You have to listen carefully around mid-June.
The opportunity will arrive through words and ideas. So, if we look at the month so far, you have built your financial foundation, you have had massive romantic joy, you have demanded luxury, and you are hustling for side income.
I am exhausted just talking about it. That is a massive amount of outward energy.
It really is.
You are constantly interacting with the world, pushing yourself at work, dating, and networking. Eventually, the battery has to run out.
It does run out. And the charts show that as we move into the late middle part of June, the universe steps in to change the pace.
A big shift.
The outward focus ends and a period of deep, intense inner work begins. You're forced to stop and take care of your body and your mind.
We are entering part 3 of our map, the deep work.
This is crucial.
And looking at the dates, June 19 is listed as another one of the best dates of the month, but the astrological event sounds intimidating.
Chiron.
Yes, Chiron enters your sign, Aries. Let us break this down, because Chiron is not a normal planet like Mars or Jupiter.
Yeah.
What exactly is Chiron, and why is its movement into Aries such a big deal?
To understand the mechanics of this, we have to look at astronomy and mythology.
Okay, let's hear it.
Astronomically, Chiron is a minor planet, or a comet, that orbits out between Saturn and Uranus. It is a bridge between the visible planets we can see with our eyes and the outer planets that represent deep generational change.
So it is like a messenger.
Yes. In astrology, Chiron is known as the wounded healer.
The wounded healer. That sounds like a contradiction.
Yeah.
How does a wound heal?
The title comes from the ancient myth of Chiron. He was a centaur known for his wisdom and his ability to heal others.
Right.
But he was accidentally struck by a poisoned arrow. Because he was immortal, he could not die from the poison, but he also could not cure himself. He had to live with constant pain.
Oh, wow. That is dark.
But through his endless search for a cure for his own wound, he learned how to heal the deepest wounds of everyone else.
I see.
In your astrological chart, Chiron represents the specific pain, insecurity, or flaw that you carry with you.
So when Chiron enters Aries, the listener's own sign, what does that mean? Does it mean they're going to get hit with a poisoned arrow?
No physical arrows. It means the spotlight turns onto your internal wounds. It brings a major shift toward personal healing.
Okay, that sounds positive.
But as the myth shows, healing is not just taking a warm bath and relaxing. Chiron brings up the emotional pain that you have been ignoring. It forces you to look at the insecurities you try to hide.
I have to challenge this.
Go for it.
We just talked about having joyful romance, demanding to be treated like a king or queen, and making extra money. We are riding high.
Very high.
And now the universe wants us to sit in a dark room and cry about our insecurities. That feels like the universe is just ruining a good mood.
Yeah.
Why on earth is this considered one of the best dates of the month?
I completely understand why it feels like a heavy turn, and some astrologers might view it as a difficult transit.
It sounds awful.
But if we analyze the deeper mechanics, this is not a punishment. It is a necessary clearing out.
Clearing out.
Imagine you have a beautiful, clean living room, but you have one closet where you have shoved all your junk for 10 years.
Oh, I have that closet.
We all do. You keep the door closed so nobody sees it. Chiron entering your sign is the universe opening that closet door and pulling everything out onto the floor.
Okay, so the process of looking at the mess is terrible. You feel overwhelmed, embarrassed, and you wish you could just close the door again.
Exactly. The process is painful. But think about the feeling you get when that closet is finally empty, cleaned, and organized.
It feels amazing.
The weight that is lifted off your shoulders is massive.
Yeah.
Chiron is listed as a best date because the potential for true, lasting healing is enormous.
Even for an Aries, because they usually just want to point forward and ignore the past.
Especially for an Aries, the charts show that by practically accepting your flaws, looking at the pain you have brushed under the rug, and treating yourself with gentle kindness, you are building a real, unbreakable self-esteem.
It is the difference between fake confidence and real confidence.
Yeah.
Fake confidence is ignoring the messy closet and hoping nobody opens it. Real confidence is knowing the closet is clean. You do not have to hide anything anymore.
That is a profound way to understand Chiron. It demands authenticity. And it demands patience.
Which is tough for a fire sign.
Very tough. You cannot heal a deep wound overnight. The key is to avoid being harsh with yourself. Accept that you have flaws. Treat yourself with the same grace you would offer a friend who is hurting.
Give yourself grace. That makes sense. And it feels like this theme of facing reality and taking care of yourself physically really ramps up just a couple of days later.
It does.
Let us look at June 21. We have two things happening with the moon. The moon enters Libra, and we also have the first quarter moon in Libra. What is the difference between those two things, and how do they affect our health?
The moon entering Libra is the background music for the day. Libra is an air sign, but it sits directly opposite Aries in the zodiac wheel.
Okay, opposites again.
Libra seeks balance, harmony, and peace. When the moon is in Libra, you will feel a very strong desire for physical peace. You will want to balance the hard work you have been doing with proper rest.
So gentle movement.
Exactly. You will crave gentle movement, like stretching or walking in a quiet place.
That sounds lovely. But you mentioned a first quarter moon on the same day.
Yes, and this is where the friction comes in. A first quarter moon happens when the sun and the moon are at a 90-degree angle to each other in the sky.
A 90-degree angle.
In astrology, that is called a square, and squares always create tension. It is an action point. The peaceful Libra energy wants you to relax, but the first quarter moon brings a small challenge that forces you to make a change.
A challenge regarding our health.
Yeah.
What does that look like in daily life? Does a piano fall on us?
Nothing that dramatic. It is usually a small, annoying physical symptom.
Like what?
You might wake up feeling completely drained. You might have a headache that will not go away, or your digestion might be completely off. It is a minor physical block that forces you to stop and examine your daily habits.
It sounds exactly like the check engine light coming on in your car.
That is a perfect analogy.
When you are driving down the highway and that little orange light pops on, your first reaction is to get annoyed.
Of course. It is an inconvenience.
But you should not get mad at the light bulb. The light bulb is your friend. It is telling you that something minor is wrong with the engine.
Right.
If you ignore it, the engine will eventually explode and leave you stranded. If you fix it now, you can keep driving.
The check engine light is a brilliant way to analyze this transit. The small challenge on the 21st is a warning light. Do not get frustrated by it.
View it as a gift.
View it as a gift from your body. It is an opportunity to adjust. The universe is telling you to make a small change to your diet, or force yourself to get an extra hour of sleep, or drink more water.
And what happens if we actually listen to the check engine light? Do we get a reward?
The charts show a massive reward coming just 3 days later.
Oh, I like rewards.
On June 24, the sun forms an alignment with the node.
The node? You mean the North Node. Explain what that is, because it is not a planet, right?
Correct. The nodes are mathematical points in the sky where the moon's orbit crosses the sun's path. They are associated with eclipses.
Oh, okay.
In astrological charts, the North Node represents your destiny, your future path, and the direction you are meant to grow toward. The sun represents your current vitality.
So when they align...
When the sun aligns with the North Node, it acts as a massive validation that you are walking in the right direction.
So the small changes we made on the 21st suddenly pay off.
In a big way. The positive energy rushes in on June 24th. If you adjusted your sleep or your diet a few days prior, you will wake up on the 24th feeling a huge surge of vitality.
You just feel good.
Your body will feel strong. You will have a deep internal knowing that you are on the right path to being totally well. It proves that taking care of the small things prevents the big breakdowns.
I love that. You fix the engine, and suddenly the car is driving smoother and faster than it has all year. And we are going to need a smooth-running engine, because as we cross into the final week of June, we hit part 4, the climax.
The big finish.
All the deep work and the physical healing you just did gives you the strength to handle some massive, heavy-hitting events. Let us look at the end of the month.
The end of June is incredibly active, and the themes change rapidly. On June 25, we return to the topic of love.
Okay, more romance.
But the energy is entirely different from the middle of the month. Venus forms a connection with Saturn.
We talked about Saturn at the very beginning of the month. Saturn is the planet of limits, structure, and pouring concrete foundations.
Yes.
When it connects with Venus, the planet of love, what happens? Do we put walls up around our heart?
Not walls to keep people out, but walls to protect what is inside.
Okay.
Think back to June 13, when Venus was in Leo. You wanted loud drama, royal treatment, and constant attention.
Red carpet.
Right. By June 25, when Saturn gets involved, the wild drama completely fades away. The velvet ropes do not matter anymore. What you truly desire is trust, reliability, and stability.
So you do not want someone to buy you a fancy dinner. You want someone who shows up on time when they say they are going to.
Exactly. You are looking to build a solid foundation with someone. Saturn demands maturity.
It's time to get serious.
If you are in a relationship, this is the time to have serious discussions about long-term plans. Where are we living? How are we combining our finances?
And if you are single?
If you are single, you will have zero tolerance for people who play games. You are looking for a partner who is willing to do the hard work of building a life together.
You want someone who will help you pour the concrete.
Exactly.
It is a very serious, grounded approach to love. And then, just 3 days later, on June 28, the energy shifts again. Mars connects with Jupiter.
This is huge for you, Aries.
Break down the mechanics of these two planets for me and why it is so big for Aries.
Mars is your ruling planet. It is the planet of action, drive, energy, and courage. It is the engine that pushes you forward. We already know Jupiter is the planet of massive expansion. When Mars and Jupiter connect, their energies combine to create an explosive surge of forward momentum.
Explosive in a good way or a bad way?
In the best possible way. Jupiter expands the courage of Mars. On June 28, your confidence will hit an all-time high.
Like nothing can stop you.
You will feel capable of overcoming any obstacle in your path. This is the absolute best moment of the month to take decisive action.
What kind of action?
If there is a major new project you have been afraid to start or a long-held dream you have hesitated to pursue, the charts say this is the day to push the button. Your instincts will be sharp and your determination will be unbreakable.
So on the 28th, you feel invincible. You have stable love, your health is on track, and you have this massive surge of courage. You are climbing up the mountain.
You are almost at the peak.
Which brings us to the most complex and honestly the most dangerous day of the entire month, June 29.
The trapdoor.
We need to take our time and carefully analyze this day. because there are two massive astrological events happening at the exact same time, and they seem to be pulling in completely opposite directions.
It is a tricky day.
First, we have a full moon in Capricorn. What does that mean mechanically?
A full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are directly opposite each other in the sky. The face of the moon is fully illuminated.
So it is a big light in the dark.
Astrologically, this represents a culmination, a peak, a moment where things are brought out into the light. Because this full moon happens in the sign of Capricorn, we must look at what Capricorn rules.
Okay.
For an Aries, Capricorn is heavily associated with your professional life, your public standing, and your long-term ambitions.
So a peak in Capricorn means a peak in your career.
Precisely. You might finally finish a massive project you've been working on for months. You might receive a promotion. Or you might just reach a personal goal that solidifies your reputation in your field.
That sounds amazing.
It is the mountaintop. You have reached the summit of your professional ambitions for this current cycle.
The mountaintop. You plant your flag, look around, and celebrate the view. But the astro data shows that on the exact same day, June 29, Mercury goes into retrograde.
The infamous retrograde.
Now, even people who have never looked at an astrological chart know that Mercury retrograde is famous for messing things up.
It definitely causes chaos.
It causes delays, communication breakdowns, and technology failures. So here's my question. How is it possible to have our biggest career victory, our mountaintop moment, on the exact same day that Mercury starts moving backwards and throwing a wrench into everything?
It is confusing, right?
It feels like the universe hit a trapdoor right at the top of the mountain.
It is a split energy, and you have to understand how to navigate the different rooms of your astrological house. Let us explain the mechanics of a retrograde first.
Okay, let's hear it.
Mercury does not actually move backwards in space. It is an optical illusion from our perspective on Earth, like when you pass a slower car on the highway, and the slower car appears to be moving backward.
Right.
But in astrology, the visual rule is as above, so below. If the planet of communication and commerce appears to be moving backward in the sky, those areas of our life will experience a backward pull.
So how do we separate the career victory of the full moon from the backward pull of Mercury retrograde? Do they cancel each other out?
No, they affect different areas of your life. Your career and your public standing are ruled by the full moon right now. That is where you are succeeding.
Okay, so the career is safe.
Celebrate that success. The full moon in Capricorn asks you to ensure your job matches your personal integrity. That is the career side. The trapdoor is hidden under your finances.
Oh.
The charts clearly show that Mercury moving backwards at this specific time is going to hit your money zone.
So the career is safe, but the money is in the danger zone. What does that danger actually look like?
Because Mercury rules commerce and contracts, its backward motion scrambles those signals. You will likely experience frustrating delays in getting paid.
Oh, that is annoying.
Bank transfers might fail or get lost in the system. You might receive confusing invoices, or, most commonly, you will get hit with completely unexpected expenses.
Like a broken appliance or a sudden repair bill.
Exactly.
Let us give some very clear, practical instructions to the listener here. If you are an Aries listening to this, and you know June 29 brings this financial trapdoor, what exactly should you avoid doing during this period?
There are 3 clear rules for navigating this retrograde.
Okay, rule number 1.
First and foremost, do not buy big-ticket items. Do not buy a car, do not buy a new computer, do not buy a house.
Just wait.
Yes, the technology will likely fail, or the deal will have hidden flaws. Second rule, do not sign any major financial contracts.
Like a lease.
If you have a lease to sign or a loan to agree to, do everything in your power to get it signed earlier in the month. Ideally around the 15th, when the Gemini energy was supporting smooth communication.
And the third rule.
Third, expect delays in your income. If you are waiting on a bonus check or a client payment, assume it will be late and plan your daily budget accordingly.
Okay, so we freeze all forward movement with our money. We do not buy and we do not sign. But what do we actually do while Mercury is moving backwards? Just hide our wallets under the mattress for a few weeks?
No. You use the backward motion of the planet to look backward in your own life.
Oh, I see.
The prefix re is key during a retrograde. Review, revise, revisit. Use this time to audit your past spending habits.
Go through your bank statements.
Go through them line by line for the last 6 months. Find those subscription services you forgot to cancel. Correct any mistakes you have made with your money management. It is a time for auditing, not purchasing.
I really like that distinction. Auditing, not purchasing. Reviewing, not initiating. If you just follow that simple rule, you avoid the trapdoor entirely.
You walk right past it.
You can stand on your career mountaintop, celebrate the promotion, and just keep your wallet safely in your pocket while Mercury sorts itself out. You do not have to let the retrograde ruin your victory.
That is the ultimate goal of reading these charts. When you know where the potholes are, you can steer around them.
So we have mapped out the entire month. We know where the peaks are, we know where the heavy emotional lifting is, and we know where the financial traps are.
We covered it all.
But we do not walk through life alone. The people around us, our friends, partners, and coworkers, can completely change how we experience these astrological weather patterns.
Oh, absolutely. Compatibility is huge.
So let us transition to part 5, Cosmic Connections. Let us look at who you should travel through June with and who you might want to avoid.
Compatibility becomes crucial when the energies are shifting this rapidly. And the astro charts are very clear on who your best partner is for navigating June 2026.
Okay, who is it?
The best match for you this month is a Virgo.
Virgo. Okay, explain the mechanics of that connection. Because Aries is fire and Virgo is earth, right? They seem pretty different. Why is Virgo the ultimate co-pilot for an Aries during this specific month?
It comes down to what you specifically need to survive this month's transits. You have so much fiery forward momentum, but you also have those deep periods of healing and that tricky financial trapdoor.
Right.
Virgo provides the grounding earth energy you need. Think back to June 19 when Chiron brings up those deep wounds and you need emotional grounding. Virgo naturally respects routine and quiet space.
They are very practical caretakers.
Yes. They will not disrupt your peace. If you tell a Virgo you just want to stay home, organize the kitchen, and eat a quiet dinner, they are thrilled. They are not going to drag you to a loud party.
That makes perfect sense.
And remember June 25 when Venus connects with Saturn and you crave serious, stable commitment. Virgo thrives on stability. They are looking for the exact same reliability that you are.
And what about that big Mars energy on the 28th?
Oh, that is the best part. When Mars and Jupiter give you that massive surge of courage to start a big project, Virgo is the perfect person to help you execute it. You bring the unstoppable determination, and Virgo brings the practical organization to make it a reality.
They will take your big, brave idea and build a spreadsheet to make sure it actually works.
Exactly.
That is a superpower combination. But what about the danger zone at the end of the month? Does a Virgo help with a Mercury retrograde financial mess?
They do, and this is the most important reason they are your best match. Virgo is ruled by Mercury.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
They understand the energy of that planet. Even when communication gets scrambled and delays happen, your connection survives because Virgo has a natural tendency to think carefully and analyze details.
So during the financial audit phase of the retrograde, having a Virgo help you look over your bank statements is a massive advantage.
It is the best thing you could ask for.
So pull your Virgo friends, partners, and colleagues close. They are your safe harbor in the storm. Now let us flip the coin. Who is the worst match? Who is going to drive an Aries absolutely crazy this month?
The charts are very clear here as well. The worst match for you in June is Leo.
Leo. Another fire sign.
Yes. The core desires and the speeds of your two signs are completely mismatched right now, even though you are both fire.
Oof. Okay, sorry to any Leos listening, but we have to analyze why this clash happens. Is it because you are both fighting to be the boss?
That is a big part of it. In astrology, you are both very proud, very dominant energies. But you want completely different things this month. Remember June 13 when Venus enters Leo?
The royal treatment day.
Right. Leo wants loud, constant attention. They want life to be a continuous grand gesture. But you, as an Aries going through this specific chart, you are being pulled towards serious reflection and healing.
It is exhausting for an Aries to just keep clapping for the Leo.
Exactly. You want to focus on your own growth, and Leo wants a parade.
Eh.
And the moon moving into Leo on June 17th just adds fuel to the fire.
It adds a layer of emotional drama.
Leo might create tension simply because you refuse to play along with their dramatic storyline. You are trying to conserve your energy, and Leo takes your silence as a personal insult.
And wait, right as the month ends is exactly when Mercury retrograde hits our finances. Are they going to clash over money?
That is the biggest warning sign in the charts. Mercury moving backwards will almost certainly cause arguments about money if you are dealing with a Leo.
Why is that?
Leo loves to spend money to show off their generosity and their royal nature. But during this retrograde, you know that you need to freeze your spending and be incredibly cautious.
So you are sitting at the kitchen table trying to audit your bank statements and find out why a check bounced, and a Leo walks in with 3 shopping bags of expensive clothes they just bought on a whim.
That is a recipe for an explosion.
It is a massive clash of values. And when the full moon hits on the 29th, you want to focus on your long-term career goals and secure your future. But the Leo is focused entirely on immediate gratification and having fun right now.
There is almost no middle ground to be found.
It is like you are trying to drive carefully through a dangerous construction zone, and they are sitting in the passenger seat, blasting the radio, dancing, and trying to grab the steering wheel.
A perfect description.
The advice here is simple. Just give the Leos in your life some space this month. Do not try to force a business collaboration, especially involving money. Let them go to their parade, and you stay focused on your own path.
That is the safest approach. Set clear boundaries and protect your energy. Now, before we conclude our analysis of the month, there are a few extra markers in the astrodata that you should keep an eye on.
I love these little cosmic breadcrumbs. Tell me what we should be looking out for.
First, the charts highlight a specific color for you this month: green.
Green. What does that signify for an Aries?
Well, green represents physical healing, which ties into the Chiron transit on the 19th. And it also represents financial abundance, which ties into the Gemini new moon on the 15th.
Okay, that makes sense.
Try incorporating the color green into your daily life. Wear a green shirt to that important career meeting on the 4th. Use a green pen when you are auditing your finances during the retrograde. Or simply spend more time walking in nature, surrounding yourself with the green of the trees.
Just subtle things.
Right. It helps align your physical body with the positive flow of the month.
Simple enough. Surround yourself with green. And what about numbers? Are there specific numbers that are mathematically aligned with the Aries chart this month?
Yes. The data shows your numbers for June are 2, 6, 11, 13, 24, and 28. If you look closely, you will notice how many of these numbers directly align with the key dates we discussed.
Let me look at the list. June 2 is the Saturn financial day.
Yep.
June 11 is the day to slow down. June 13 is the romance shift. June 24 is the health reward day. June 28 is the massive courage day. That is incredible how they line up.
The universe is highly mathematical. Pay attention when these numbers appear in your daily life. If you randomly glance at a clock and it is 2.28, or your total at the grocery store is exactly $24, or you are assigned to meeting room 11.
They're like little winks from the universe.
Exactly. These are small, subtle signals that you are walking in rhythm with the astrological weather.
2, 6, 11, 13, 24, and 28. Write those down on a sticky note and put them on your mirror.
Definitely.
So let us look back at the massive journey we have mapped out for June 2026. We start the month by pouring a serious concrete foundation and getting our money right.
Building that shield.
We take smart, calculated risks at work that buy us the right to fully relax and recharge our fire. We experience a massive burst of joyful love that eventually demands we step up and act like royalty.
The velvet ropes.
We find clever side doors to make extra cash. Then the universe forces us to face our deeply ignored pain, clean out the emotional closet, and fix the check engine light on our physical health.
The deep work.
Finally, we transition into serious, stable love, get a huge boost of courage, and reach the absolute peak of our career mountain knoll, while skillfully dodging the financial traps of Mercury retrograde by leaning on our Virgo friends and keeping a safe distance from the Leos.
When you lay it out sequentially like that, you can see the profound transformation taking place. You are building a new, much stronger foundation on every possible level: financial, emotional, physical, and professional.
You had a lot of growth.
The charts show an Aries who is stepping into a much more secure, powerful, and authentic version of themselves.
Which brings me to a final thought I want to leave with you, the listener. We spent a lot of time today talking about building that secure foundation and doing the hard, painful work of facing the insecurities you have been ignoring.
The Chiron transit?
Yes. But think about this. If this month is all about clearing out the clutter and healing those old wounds, what actually happens when you finally let go of the one big insecurity that has been holding you back the most? Imagine that heavy backpack of fear you've been carrying for years just dropping to the floor. Once that weight is completely gone, how high could you actually climb?
That is the true promise of the astrological charts this month. Once the fear is gone, your potential is unhindered.
Something to chew on as you move through these powerful days. I want to thank you so much for spending your time with us and listening to this episode on Horoscope TV. We love analyzing these charts and giving you the map you need to navigate the weather ahead.
It is always a privilege to look through these movements with you. Stay grounded, trust your instincts, and take care of your foundation this month.
And remember, if you want to make sure you are always prepared for what the universe is throwing your way, make sure you subscribe to Horoscope TV right now. That way, you will get notified the exact second the next episode is available, and you will never walk into a new month without a map. Take care of yourself, enjoy the quiet moments, and we will see you next time.